Last year I released this, which is a biography of Goldie Gardner, who's one of the most underrated, I would say, speed record drivers ever. He was responsible for nearly 150 international and national speed records, everywhere from here, Brooklands. He held the 750cc and the 1100cc records here. Went to Montlhéry, went to Frankfurt, Dessau, and his sort of crowning glory was just before the Second World War, where he got 207 miles an hour in his top speed run out of basically a K3 with a different body on it, which was absolutely extraordinary. Just 12 years after Seagrave got the same speed out of a 45 litre 1000 horsepower Sunbeam, and he did it in an 1100cc MG, which not only shows just the sense of absolute bravery and dedication that he had, but also the amazing ability of his engineers. Sid Enever and Reg Jackson, not to be confused with Robin Jackson from Brooklands fame, were hugely important, and they went with him everywhere pretty much and developed everything. And in 1946, after the war, Gardner had been he'd rejoined the army. He went across the beaches at D-Day, and then after the war wanted to get back into record breaking. And MG gave him this. It was one of the first MGs made after the war, and they were trying to push it. This was the big export push, and it was prepared by the works. It still got the cream cracker scuttle colour on it, and I've got some fantastic pictures in from the archive from the National Motor Museum of this car being used to test run the routes in Italy and in Belgium in 1946, and I found it by accident. I was writing the book and it came up for auction, and it said it's got a stack of paperwork with it, and I went along to see the paperwork and then saw the car and just absolutely fell in love with it. And again, it was it wasn't quite as you see it now. It had 16-inch wheels. It'd been raced in the 1960s. Interestingly, the guy whose father raced it all the way through the 60s is here today, and I'm going to meet him and take him out in it. It's and it had the wrong headlamps on it, and it had some bits and bobs. So I've got it back to that, but without getting rid of any of the history of it. It's still got the scratches and the bumps, and actually this is a lovely story. Why the radiator surround is dented is this guy Ken Cheeseman, who was racing this at Silverstone in 1969, and they bound the springs in nylon cord, and it was too hard, and his son said it was undrivable, and he said they went straight on at the old Woodcock corner, straight into a ditch, and he said that is the result of a big shunt at Silverstone. So it's a fascinating car. But so this is the original badge bar that Goldie Gardner had. He was in the Royal Field Artillery in the First World War, and then also served Second World War. So that's that. Brooklands Aero Club, really interesting. That is because, and you have to read the book to find out why he's got a Brooklands Aero Club. He was never a pilot. 120 mph badge. He actually had a one-off made of 124.4, which was the class lap record. That one sold at auction for many thousands of pounds a few years ago. And then the old RAC badge on the side. But there's a lovely photograph of him pointing these out to some children in Belgium in 1946. And it's an absolute piece of history. So, and it's very, very well used. I use this all the time. We've driven here from Chichester today. We're driving back tonight. I'm dropping my dad off near Windsor, and we take it out. And my 21-year-old son drives it all the time. We've done various tours in it. Not scared to use it, and it's an absolutely brilliant car. Love it. That's him with it there. Yep. That's in 1946 in Belgium, and then there's various ones in here actually. Going on, that's the middle one. So that's it behind EX135 in Belgium in
Yes.
19. And this is the whole team, actually. This is brilliant because you've got Gardner, you've got Enever, that's Dunlop Mac, that's Jacko, Reg Jackson. And then there's a great one. That's it. This is crossing into Italy in 1946, first post-war record attempt anywhere. So you got Gardner there, and that's Johnny Lorani. Again, huge Brooklands name, big friend of Gardner's, and he was the one that said, after war, he said, "Oh, you need to come to Brescia, and there's a fantastic motorway." And the fantastic motorway ended up being this pretty much dirt track. And it had a humpback bridge halfway along it, and a turn, and he couldn't get the records. That's when they found the Jaarbeker Strait in Belgium, which was this, which was amazing, absolutely fantastic. But
what a story!
Yeah, thank you.
Just superb. What two fantastic cars! And John, thank you very much for bringing them both here today.
Not at all. I love Brooklands.
Very special.
It's such a special place, and I think that, bringing cars like this back to Brooklands, just it makes you, feel something inside. It's
well
wonderful,
done.
wonderful
You're
experience.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Superb. Thank you again.
Thanks.